them in place to keep us in chains. By show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same? 1% trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go. And welcome, everybody, to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How the fuck is everybody today on this Wednesday, September 4th? Of the horrible year that is, November 4th of the horrible year that has been 2020. I'm not going to talk about the election because I don't know what the hell happened, because today is Tuesday for me and I'm actually recording this a day earlier. So, you know, it is what it is, but it's airing on Wednesday. So you guys know, but I don't know. So who knows? But so we're not going to talk about it because today I have somebody with me that I'm very, very excited to talk to. Someone that I've wanted on the show for a while just because of the artistic nature of not only her music, but her visuals as well. The stuff that she does with her band, September Mourning, and the stuff that they just put out is second to none. And it's just phenomenal. And I am so, so excited to have with me today, Miss Emily Lazar. Hey, Emily, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? I am fan-damn-tastic, or at least like as best as I can be, you know?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So how's everything going for you?
Good. I mean, you know, like it's COVID season, so every day's Groundhog Day. But, you know, besides that, just trying to, you know, keep things real and trying to move forward with a lot of different projects.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part about it has to be, especially for a musician, you know, not being able to, you know, tour this year, you know, no matter what you guys do, everything's done virtually or digitally, and you can't get out in front of your fans. And it's a weird world we're living in right now.
Well, virtual for rock is not our strong suit, you know, like rock music thrives on crowd participation, crowd energy. It's not like we're sitting there with an acoustic guitar playing like pop songs. Like, you know, we're out there, we're like climbing on people. You know, at least I am. You know, we're you know, really engaging the audience in a show, bringing that to the forefront. And you can't do that digitally. You can't do that like online concerts. It's boring, you know. So I mean, yeah. I respect people that do them, and I think that's great, and it's good to keep your fans engaged. But especially something with us, it's like we're so theatrical.
Yeah.
So you have this whole other element to it. So yeah. There's
100%. You know, bands like yours, you know, In This Moment, Ice Nine Kills, you know, even Rob Zombie has this whole, you know, theatrical element to it. And if you guys can't be out on stage and tour with, you know, the stuff that you're creating, it's almost, you know, worthless to put out stuff right now anyway. You know, Avenged Sevenfold came out 2-3 weeks ago and says, hey, we have an album ready to go, but we're not ready to put it out yet because we can't tour because we know we need our visuals to go along with it. And I completely respect them for that. So, you know, I can definitely understand where you're coming from on that. I mean, especially, you know, again, with the theatrics that you guys definitely bring to the table. I mean, the whole incorporation, you know, of the makeups and the outfits and this, it's so beautiful what you guys do. I can definitely understand why, you know, doing it virtually wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah. And also, you know, if you want to do it virtually, you're going to have a whole setup. And even with a whole setup, it still looks kind of lame. I mean, I was watching like the AMAs and stuff like that, and it just didn't look as good. Like, it just looked kind of like cheesy. Their costuming looked kind of everything just looked cheesy. And I was like, this isn't good, you know?
Yeah. And even the Emmys did that Emmys at home bullshit. And that was weird as hell, watching everything, you know, done at home. I mean, it was just odd. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, everything's just weird right now. But hopefully we'll get a vaccine. We'll get back on the road. We'll have something to say on the road, and we'll get back in there and rock faces. So
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Normally this time of year is when Danny Wimmer starts putting out their festivals for next year and stuff like that. And we're not even hearing anything about festivals except for Aftershock got announced last week. So
right.
there's a glimmer of hope, for the rock community.
I mean, we're on a bunch of festivals next year that were pushed from this year. So like, we're hoping that they stand true. But even those festivals are getting pushed because honestly, nothing's going to happen until we have a vaccine. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, we can't risk it. We don't want our fans to risk it. We just need to keep everyone safe.
Absolutely. I 100%. So I 100% agree with you. So have you guys been working on any new stuff? I know you guys put out Volume 3 last year. Are you guys working on Volume 4 or something as a continuation to it?
We have a whole new album done. We have Volume 4 is done.
Okay.
It's being different songs are being mixed. We're releasing a single December 11th. We just announced the pre-order for it. You can check it out on our website or any of our social media tags under September Mourning, MOURNING. And it's called Wake the Dead. And it's like the most political kind of song I think I've ever done. And I'm not really a political songwriter, but I had the urge of like doing it something through September's eyes as she's like watching all this occur. And so I the chorus is really big and massive, and it has a lot to say, and it's a good song. It's a very, very good song. So I hope it speaks to people.
I hope so too, because what I love about you guys isn't just the musical aspect of things. It's the comic book aspect of things too. Telling the story of September. I absolutely love that because I'm a comic book nerd. And to have that that element of music to go along with comic books, is such a cool ass, idea behind it. I mean, it's the same concept that, Coheed and Cambria uses. And it just makes it so much more, enticing to want to listen to and, learn more about. What was the whole idea behind that when you first came out with that in 2009?
Well, we started working on it in 2009. We didn't even really try to like present the project in full detail until like 2014. But like, so it took a long time to write all the books and like come up with the concept and the characters and stuff like that. It was a big undertaking because we wanted to be the characters on stage. I love Coheed, they're great. But they don't play the characters on stage. They just kind of like sing about it. So
Correct. Yeah.
So for us, it was like we needed to be this like entire sort of like transmedia thing. So that's what we wanted to do when we were going into it. And I think we pretty much made that happen on the level that we could.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys took it a whole other level of, like I said, with what Coheed does, because you guys, like I said, you play those characters on stage and you guys just have this, again, that theatrical element. It just makes it so much fun to watch. I've seen you guys before and I've been a fan of you guys for a while, and it's just, amazing what you guys put up on stage and what you put out lyrically and on paper. It's amazing. And, I can't give you guys enough credit for that.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things I like about, what's going on today musically is the fact, there's people like you, there's people like Maria Brink and, Lizzie Hale and all these, Tatiana of Ginger and all these people, all these strong females in the rock industry that are really paving the way for a whole new generation to discover rock. And I got to give you credit for that as well, because you guys have been at the forefront of it all. What does it feel like to be a part of basically a whole new women's revolution of metal?
I mean, it's a great feeling. It's still a man's world, very much so. But it's funny. It's like I've been I listen to a lot of audiobooks. That's kind of like my thing. And I've been listening to this audiobook called The Biggest Bluff. And it's about this woman who's this psychologist, psychiatrist or something. And she's learning how to play poker. And she ends up going to like the biggest poker tournament because she plays it so well. But she's talking about how it is to play in this poker world, which is like highly regarded as a man's world. And it's like throughout the whole book, it's very interesting, like what she says about how women are perceived and like aggression in women and things like that. Because we come from a society where aggressive women are punished and, you know, things that were given to them freely, if they become aggressive, are taken away. Aggressive women in relationships usually don't have strong relationships because men don't like that. They don't like the aggressive factor. There's like a lot of stuff about aggression. And in metal and rock, obviously, aggression is huge. Like you have to be aggressive. You have to be aggressive on stage as a woman. You have to be aggressive in the music industry, period. You have to set your sights on something and go for it. Because if you meander and pander to the lowest common, you're never going to get anywhere. So it's a very interesting dichotomy between how we are in society and how we have to be in the music business as a woman. And I think that because of that, it's made it harder to be a woman in the music business, because you kind of have to be two different people, you know? So it's just a really interesting thing. And so being on the forefront of like this movement has kind of taught me a lot about society, about like how women are viewed, and just in general about the music business. So it's been quite a ride.
I can only imagine. And again, it's so it's just badass to me, that like I said, some of the biggest, rock, albums and some of the biggest rock bands and metal bands out there today are fronted by women.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge feminist, and I love the power and the aggression that comes with it. And it just,
Yeah.
it makes a huge statement. Because I remember was back in 2000, was it 13, when Horror came out, from In This Moment. And it was like an anthem from women. I mean, women just, were like, holy shit, she took this word and made it, something amazing, women honoring others, rising eternally. It's such a powerful message. And then, and then what Lizzie does, and then what you do, and just all these, like I said, it's just really amazing to me. Like, I've been infatuated lately with Ginger, and because Tatiana's a badass as well, and it's just it's I just love seeing that, because again, you said it's still a male dominated world, but again, it's paving the way for more women. I remember 10 years ago when my oldest daughter was 8 years old, I couldn't get her to listen to rock to save my life. Now
Right.
my 10-year-old, all she listens is The Rock. Her and this little girl who's 10 years old can recite word for word every song on the Ice Nine Kills Silver Scream album, word for word.
I love it. I love it.
I love it. I love it too.
Yeah.
And she's begging me to take her to a show. I'm like, you know what? I will take you to a show now. But again, it's when she hears women on the radio, it allows her to really kind of say, hey, I can be there too. I mean, she loves Hailstorm. She loves you. She loves, all these, fantastic artists, and she just can't get enough of it. I find that so fascinating, just how a difference of 10 years can make.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely part of the metal community that has grown, has been accepted into the metal community. It's really great to see how much we have been accepted and how much we're allowed to do, but everything is it's all cyclical with music. So it's really interesting to see the rise of this, and I'm hoping that it like rock can kind of like make some more of a splash in the upcoming years, because it's been like kind of downgraded a lot, you know, with urban and pop. So it would be nice to see like the younger generation really grab hold of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially in America. I mean, one of the things that is common, you know, among non-rock people is they're constantly saying rock is dead. But you jump across the pond to, you know, either Asia or Europe, and it's the biggest form of music out there. I
Right.
mean, you don't get any bigger than Download Fest. You don't get any bigger than Rock Am Ring. You don't get
Yeah.
any bigger than these festivals. But yet, you know, it seems to have died off a lot. But, you know, luckily, you know, there's these there's these fantastic bands out there that are just still paving the way to make sure that it doesn't die off.
Yeah.
What do you say to, you know, people that, you know, say, you know, hey, rock is dead?
I mean, honestly, it is dead. If I'm gonna be real about it and be 100 with you, like rock is dead. I mean, it's a niche market. It's very small. It's it used to be very large. That's why the term rock star was created, because rock was that big. But
Yeah.
now it's like rock star. If you say that term to a kid, they tell you Post Malone. They don't tell you like Jimmy Page. You know, they tell you
Yeah.
Post Malone. So when that happens, you realize that rock it's not dead. It's just very small at the moment. It's taken a beating. It's a niche market, and unfortunately, I think that really has to do a lot with not the bands themselves, because there's some great young, talented rock bands out there, but unfortunately, the way rock is set up in the United States, like with the radio and stuff, the radio stations cater to these older bands, and they put them in rotation even if they haven't been active for years. Nirvana still plays all over the radio, but to get a new band on the radio, fucking hard, you know? So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and that's the total opposite of what urban music does. Urban, the newer the better, the older the worse. So it's like we are the only market in music that caters to the elder of the bands. So you do that, you cater to things that are older, and yeah, they're great. Linkin Park is great. Meteora is a great album. I'm not going to say it's not, but Ice Nine Kills has a great album too. But In This Moment has a great album. We have a great album. Like there's bands that are out there touring, grinding, busting ass, that deserve a little chance of the spotlight, because they're going to bring the younger people into rock. The older bands aren't going to bring them. The younger
Yeah.
ones are. You know what I'm saying?
Wholeheartedly. I mean, just look at the last few years. Everyone from, again, Ice Nine Kills, Bad Wolves, Nothing More, you know, I Prevail, you know,
Yeah,
just
they're great.
all this great music that is just going under the radar. And if it wasn't for Sirius XM Octane or Liquid Metal, it would never see public airwaves.
Yeah. It's like, you know, but that's one station out of
Yep.
how many? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
And that's a
it's
paid
like,
station
why?
too.
Yeah, and why do we have to rely on just one station to be the only tastemaker, so that only those bands can make it? It's not fair.
It's really
It's
not.
like it's not giving talent a chance, which means that it's not letting talent grow, which means you're killing your market. Because if you don't let talent grow and flourish, your market will die. And if you do, it will grow. Look at urban music, right?
Yep.
These guys have a crew. They run with the crew. If one of them makes it, all of those motherfuckers make it. Like, they make sure that they get played. They bring their shit into the studio. They're like, if you play me, you got to play this guy. They make sure, on top of everything, that they foster young talent or new talent. They foster it. And I think that's what's kind of missing in rock, because rock is like, we have these bands that have kind of made it, not really, but kind of. And they don't want to bring up anybody else because everybody's so scared to hold on to their position. And it's like, stop. Like, find a young band that's like, or a new band that's like not really that big, has 100 plays on Spotify, but they kick ass, and get people to pay attention. Like, foster new talent. It's not going to hurt you. People are going to love you more because you introduce them to something cool. So, and I think that's, I wish the rock community was a little bit more like the urban community in that sense. I wish they were a little bit more progressive.
Oh, 100%. Because I mean, I've gone to, festivals that have been put on by rock stations for that city or town, and some of the bands that are on that card aren't even played by that fucking rock station.
Right.
It was ridiculous. I remember back in 2014, I went to 98 Rock Fest in Tampa, and on the second stage, Trivium headlined, and Trivium was never ever played on 98 Rock at all.
Yeah.
And it was just ridiculous. But then, on the inside, they had, bands that, were, they had, Avenged Sevenfold headlining. So that was cool. But at the same time, like it just didn't make any sense to me that some of these bands were on this card, which I was happy that they were, but, how are they even going to promote it if they're not even playing any of their songs? And that's what bothers me the most.
But they want those bands because those bands are like, Trivium has a great following. Like, they just bring numbers. They don't have any, they're not a radio band, but they bring numbers. So of course they're going to want them on a festival because they bring numbers. But like, what's so hypocritical? So you're saying that you'll take their numbers, but you won't give them a shot at the radio. So that's a hypocritical thing, right?
Exactly.
So I'm wondering why that happens. Like, why is that?
Because Clear Channel controls everything.
Maybe. I mean, and maybe it's just, money talking. Like, maybe that's what, makes the world go round anyway. So maybe it's that, but it doesn't make it fair. But life isn't fair. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, because like, some of these bands that are just fantastic. I mean, we've mentioned it 5 times, but like Ice Nine Kills, I mean, they're signed by Fearless. Unfortunately, Fearless doesn't have the same type of money that Sony or BMG does. No. So they're not out doing what they do. And, Spencer does pretty much all the promotions on his own. And that's what it takes. And, you do the same thing, and it's fantastic that, that the art isn't being muddled by, a shitload ton of money being told, hey, you got to do this and you got to do that. And so from that aspect of things, it's a good thing. But at the same time, these bands deserve a chance.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, and we don't have a label right now that we're releasing under. We're releasing under our own. So like, everything comes through us. Like, we don't have Fearless. We don't have anything. So like, it's like all through us. So all of the money that we need for anything has to come through us. And that's like it's a big undertaking right now, especially since we aren't touring and we don't have any tour money coming in. So like, our pipeline is a little bit down at the moment. So we're just trying to make it work. And I applaud people like Spencer and people on independent labels that can make it work with the budgets they're given, because they're not big. The budgets aren't big in rock.
No, they're not.
They're very, very small.
Yeah. I mean, even last year with the Octane Accelerator tour that they headlined, it was still, it was them, Fit for a King, and a bunch of other guys. But they were playing these small clubs. And, like I went to the one here in Baltimore. It was a little place called the Baltimore Soundstage, and it's a small club, but they still filled it out. They killed it. But it's like, even with the money that, SiriusXM put behind them last year, they're still not putting the money. Yeah. I mean, they're giving them an outlet to play on, national radio, but at the same time, it's like, you know, they're not even putting in that extra money to make sure that this is a good tour.
Yeah, I mean, well, but they have to do the tour on the venues that they know they can sell out, because they don't want to risk bleeding out money and having bigger venues and not being able to sell them out. And unfortunately, rock is, like I said, a niche market now. It's not Kanye West. We're not talking Post Malone. We don't have anybody in rock that big right now from the new generation. There's nobody that can do the new generation like that right now. There's just nobody. I can't think of one band that could outsell Post Malone right now.
Maybe Metallica, but that's an old
band. Yeah, but that's an old band. It's not a new band. I'm talking about current new artists. Like, there's not one that you can name. And Five Finger doesn't count because they're old. They're older now too. They've been out for a long time. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna say Five Finger, Papa Roach, and you know A7X, but those they're older too. Bands. Yeah, older. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
there's nothing fresh. We don't have a Post Malone of the rock set. We don't have it.
Yeah.
We really don't.
Now you keep mentioning Post Malone, and I find that, you know, interesting because, you know, because Post Malone kind of reintroduced rock to a whole new crowd last year with his collaboration with Ozzy. If Post Malone, you know, did a rock album, and everybody knows that back in the day, he was a metal guy. He was in, you know, metal bands in high school and all throughout his career up until he started doing what he does now.
The reason why he started doing what he's doing now is because a band wouldn't let him join. So he was like, I'm going to have to do something on my own. So he started doing urban music and he blew the fuck up. You know, it's just, it's like, so.
If he jumped ship, do you think that would change the face of rock?
No. I mean, it would help. It would help if he did he did like Nirvana covers with with the guy from Blink, like, you know, I mean, he's done little things like that. But I think that Posty knows, like most people know, that rock is a niche market, and his main focus is his fans, and his fans are urban fans, urban pop world. And he's not going to jump ship and just try to make it in rock again. I mean, I really don't see that happening. He might do a rock album just for the hell of it, but that's not just doing a rock song or doing a rock album when you're not a rock artist, when you haven't spent the years in a van, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not real. And the thing about rock is that's different than the thing about, like, even pop, is that pop isn't real. Pop is a lot of smoke and mirrors. There are probably 15 to 20 people writing on the song that you love to hear on the radio. It's not the pop artist. They might be on it. It might be, say, written by Beyonce, but chances are she didn't write anything. It's just done so that, like, it looks good on paper. But in rock, it's getting more and more where there's 15 writers now in rock, because a lot of bands can't write their own songs. But for the most part, you have, like, the influx, the influence from the band. It's real. There's some reality to it. There's something that's tangible. There's something that's like, and people feel that in rock. They feel it and they love it. You don't get that in other things.
Oh, absolutely not. You really truly don't.
And so if Posty went in and did a rock album, it would be real kinda, but it's not like it's really going to be that. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be awesome. I'd love to hear him do a rock album. But, you know.
I mean, it would be great. It really just depends. I mean, again, you know, do you think in the current state of affairs, the way music is going, do you think rock could ever come back to the way it was? Or do you think it's going to take something massively huge to turn it around?
I don't know if it'll ever get to where it was. You know, it was just such a time. And the thing about rock being big when it was is that you didn't have the technology that you have today. With technology comes, you know, different forms of art. Like, art tends to morph. It tends to, you know, become something different. And when you got all of this, like, electronic music and electronic beats and, like, different types of ways to use instruments, like, the guitar isn't the main instrument anymore. It's like a side piece to the backing track now. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, because of that, unless we develop an instrument that's like the guitar was when the guitar first came out, that's specifically for rock, I really don't think that the genre as a whole is ever going to get to that place, because it was built around this instrument. It really was, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that it can get big again. I mean, there's like a new rock reality show coming out where they're judging bands and like stuff like that, kind of like American Idol, but for rock.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, that's coming out. Like, people are trying to, like, you know, re-emerge with that feeling with rock. But, and I don't mean to be a downer, but it's just, it's not about all that. It's about like where we are as a society with our technology, with the way we hear things. Like, you have kids nowadays that are raised on hip hop beats, which means there's sonic like mapping in their brain when they listen to music wants to hear that bass. They want to hear that thud. They want to hear like little to no treble. They want to hear little to no mids, and they want to hear a ton of fucking bass. That is the absolute opposite of what rock music is.
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're training these little kids to listen to that type of music with those type of ears. So when they get to like 10 years old, 12 years old, you're like, listen to this rock band. They're like, I don't like it, because I've been listening to these thuddy bass beats for my entire upbringing, and that's what I want to hear. So, I mean, it's just, it's all like, man, everything is psychology. That is what I've learned in life. And, you know, in order to get to where we need to go with rock again, we're going to just have to figure out a different way to skin the cat. And I don't know who's going to figure it out, you know? I mean, people are banking on, oh, you get a young artist and like they just blow up. But I don't even know if that's going to do it, because it's not really about that anymore.
It's not, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just not, unfortunately. Yeah, it's, and you know, but again, you know, I think, you know, bands like yours that are not just a musical number, there's so many more elements to it. I think that piece of it, you know, if other bands started doing stuff like that, you know, like the Coheed, like the Ice Nine Kills, like you, like Rob Zombie, stuff like that, that have that extra element of things. I think it could take it to a whole other level as well. So I love the theatrical rock, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's just it's a special blend of music that allows you to not only be pleased musically, but pleased visually as well. So hopefully, you know, that piece of the puzzle will catch on eventually and really kind of put it on the map in some which way, shape, or form, you know. And that's what I'm really, really, truly hoping for, is something like that to really catch on and really kind of make them say, hey, what have we been doing? You know, and that's one of the things that, you know, I've always said about my show is the fact that I don't really discriminate. Yeah, I'm the metal guy. Yes, I can, you know, I love talking to you and talking to other, you know, metal people. But at the same time, I don't discriminate. I talk to rap, I talk to rock, I talk to, you know, pop and everything else in between. And it's allowed me to really kind of open my eyes and ears to other music scenes as well and have a new appreciation for them that I haven't had in a very long time. And I'm just hoping that, you know, what I do, you know, opens up, you know, ears as well. And I hope what you do opens up ears as well. And I just truly hope that one day we can get, you know, capture some glimmer of hope of what we used to have in the rock world back from the 90s and 80s, and bring it to a whole new generation and, you know, have them appreciate, you know, the way they do over in, you know, Europe and stuff like that. I wish that more people understood the power of rock that, you know, that it truly is.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice to go back to those days and stuff like that. But our country has formulated itself around urban music. It has formulated itself around pop. And so we have to kind of go with that, and be accepting of it. And so now we know that that's how it is. So how do we find our niche with this music that we have and grow our niche? You know, it's not about becoming huge again. It's becoming bigger than you are.
Mhm.
And I think that's the goal, is to cultivate it, to introduce younger people to it, to get people talking about it again. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah. What can we do today to be better than we were yesterday?
exactly, 100%. Yeah,
You hit the nail on the head with that.
yeah,
Absolutely. You know, it's just one of those things again. Yeah, when I roll down my windows, I'm driving down the street. I just get my head. People's heads turn. It's like, oh, why is that guy listening to this? And it's like, come on, why are you listening to that? Why can't we just be more appreciative of it? But
yeah,
in the same respect, you go to festivals and you see every color, every walk of life at festivals, and they're just showing up just because it's a party, and they're not there to truly appreciate the music too. And then even then, they're not even going, oh my god, look at this new band, or oh my god, I didn't realize they were that good, or whatever the case might be. And they're not walking out with anything new. They're just using it as a way just to get out of the house, and sometimes, or freaking uh, Courtney Kardashian wearing a freaking Aerosmith t-shirt. It's like, come on, guys, what is wrong with you?
yeah. I mean, I love that she's doing that because it shines light on our genre. It sucks that she probably doesn't know any Aerosmith song to date, but um, but it's great that she does shine light on it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. It's a weird time with everything, and then the fact that we can't even have a festival and we can't even play live. That's killing our genre even more.
Yeah.
So it's just a really weird time.
It really, really is. But, again, I hope, once this whole thing is said and done and, the music starts to come to light and, we're inundated with all these new songs and new, albums, and hopefully the festivals kick off again and these tours start kicking off again, people appreciate what they had lost even more. If you love something, let it go. It's going to come back to you tenfold. Hopefully that's what happens with, music in general over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to believe that. I'd like to believe that people will appreciate it, and I'd like to believe that there'll be a stronger turnout for these bands and our band and all the other bands out there that are kind of suffering through this. So let's hope. Let's cross our fingers and hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember last year, I went to 10 different shows, and the one that stood out to me the most was it was Falling in Reverse. They were there was Ice Nine Kills and who else was it? Oh, New Year's Day and one other band. I can't remember who it was. But New Year's Day opened, and but there was nobody there.
All right.
And then it slowly started to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it packed out for Ice Nine Kills, and then it got even, but then it kind of died off for Falling in Reverse. Like, more people were there to watch Ice Nine Kills than they were to watch Falling in Reverse. But at the same time, it's like, if we're gonna go to these shows, if we're gonna pay our tickets, why not be there to appreciate the bands as well? So I think there's a loss within our community as well, that we're not supporting everybody. We're just there to support who we like and who we enjoy, which I get that part of it as well. But at the same time, if you're going to buy a concert ticket, go see all four of the bands, support the other bands on the show.
I mean, that's another thing that I'm talking about with the, when I talk about the urban community, you're talking about these people that buy these tickets to go see whatever, I don't know, like Migos or whatever. And Migos brings out four or five rappers with him. Lots of them don't really even have a track record. But he brings them out because he wants them to be seen. And he knows that his fans will come early, because in urban, they want to discover new. They want the new talent. They want to be the first one to be I heard that at the Migos concert. That's dope. That's fire. And they want to spread it. In rock, it's not like that. They just want what they want. And that's another reason why I'm saying that. Like, we really have to change our attitude. Like, we really have to open up. You know, we really have to like explore new options and like new bands, and not just sit on the same 12 bands that are always out there.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. So again, December 11th, the new single drops, Wake the Dead, and then are you guys planning on? Have you have a date for yet for the new album, or are you guys waiting to be able to tour?
We're waiting a bit. We're gonna drop a bunch of singles, I think. So just keep
Okay.
your eyes open. We want to see what's going on with this pandemic. So, like a lot of
Absolutely.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. So December 11th, new September Mourning with the single "Wake the Dead," and you know, Emily, I cannot thank you enough for being here today. It was a true honor to get you on the show. You are just amazing. You know, musically, you know, visually, and you're just overall just a fantastic person, and I truly, truly appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very, very welcome, and you take care, and hopefully everything goes well with the pandemic and your new album.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye.